All right, we should be live now. So if you're joining us, awesome. We're back with this group, which is super exciting. I have it all set up, so should be able to get the audio and video from Discord and whatnot. So just a quick recap. Jared, I went ahead and sent you that information, so you have definitely a detailed kind of a synopsis of what occurred on the last session. I'm sure you probably have questions just reading it. The rest of the party has questions just reading, just kind of experiencing it. So we're going to go ahead and start in the morning after a night of partying with the king and the frost giants here in Monsag, which is a collective of frost giant clans. You have awoken and quite late as you partied well into the night. Kyler actually won the belt of the king in this drinking competition for absolutely insane rolling. The rest of the party kind of stayed back except for Kane. Kane had at it, was not too successful, but the night ended fairly well for Kane.
We measure success in different ways.
Yes, exactly. With that said, the party did speak to on that previous day there. So yesterday, the party did speak to Kultil, which is kind of this mystical blacksmith or forger that has the actual blacksmithing in their family. So it's almost a kind of a bloodline trait through their lineage. Now, they were able to bestow upgrades upon your armor and weapons, making them +1. And then I believe Ika was able to go into the marketplace and find a ring of protection. And that way you had something being in this place. And so Jared, we did talk about if you did have equipment that you wanted to be +1, just let me know and I can start kind of dragging that into your inventory. That said, that's kind of the recap. There's not much else. But I'd like, there was a lot of stuff that happened, but I think we all kind of understand that with the frozen lake, the caravan being ambushed. Now, one of the things that the king did say was that they will send frost giants with you. So they're not going to just send you into the mountains in some aimless direction that you have no idea. They do plan on kind of escorting you to Helvarig Peak, which is the peak that Etheran's lair is kind of hypothesized at. It's kind of Helvarig Peak is very symbolic to these frost giants, especially from Javarig and then Jormong. So the kind of the lineage of Etheran, right? So the ancestors there. They all have something to do with Helvarig Peak, which is a very large peak in comparison to where you are now. So it's going to be quite a journey to get there. That said, I'll go ahead and open it up to roleplay discussion. What to do next? I'll go ahead as well as unpause it and play some music.
Ika is still passed out and sleeping oddly late today.
Yeah, no, I'm still waking up.
Probably be out playing with the wolves, the big wolves.
I believe it said I had cast the Ring of Invisibility to be able to sneak out of my entanglement from the night before.
That's right. I forgot.
So I would have been trying to get some breakfast ale to try to, hair the dog situation.
All right. Anybody else doing anything while you're waking up? Getting ready?
Fitting my belt.
Your belt? Okay.
Feeling good. Strong.
So there is food, as you see, that many of the frost giants in similar nature to last night. There is food being prepared, cut out for you. Now, there isn't really plates and things that necessarily they have particularly for you. So most of this food is kind of being served in like the boughs of evergreen trees, as well as just on the table directly. The horns themselves obviously have been made, the drinking horns themselves have been made specifically for you, so that way you're able to drink there. And the breakfast there is a mixture of juniper berries, some different sorts of berries that are found in the tundra vegetation, and then meat. So it is meat and berries, that's primarily. You're not entirely sure what the meat is as you're kind of getting into it, but you imagine it to be resembling that of maybe a dire wolf or a dire bear that's been killed and just laid out on a fire pit to burn, and they cut it up.
Sure. I eat some. Let's do it. Dig right in. Some protein.
Yeah, I'll wake up and go eat. Scarfing it down.
All right.
Coming inside after playing with the doggos, seeing Kyler scarfing down meat, just go right up to him, kind of give him a slap on the back, say, well, how you doing there, Dragon Slayer? You have a big day ahead of you.
I'm gonna flex. Feel strong. Dangerous. Then I'm gonna keep eating. How does it taste?
Under-seasoned.
I get it now.
I mean, it tastes good as far as roasted meat goes.
If it's edible, that's all that matters,
quite a bit
man.
of fat on this meat. Obviously, has been trimmed, and the berries are decent. They're nice. None of them are poisonous, which is an extra plus.
Oh, God.
As you're consuming, obviously, mead is there, readily poured out. Doesn't seem like water is provided. This is not an area that necessarily has. Go out, get some snow, melt it yourself if you want water, or go to the river.
Instead of pack a lip of ice.
There you go.
let that melt.
So as you're eating breakfast and you're sitting around the table, the king does come over. Kind of crouches down at the table with you all. Chosen ones, I see you are well rested. Last night was quite...
Some of us more than others.
Last night was quite an event. I particularly enjoyed myself. The old wizard did not explain that you all would be such fun.
What we're known for,
Fun
baby.
just getting started, right, Kyler?
It seems to
Huzzah.
be our bread.
Now, I'm not sure if you prepare to head to Helvarig Peak today, but if you do, I have elected my finest to go with you.
I'm okay with going today. Everybody else?
I mean, we could sit around and drink for the next 3 days, but probably eventually gotta get to that dragon.
We could, yeah. I mean, I don't think anybody would complain, but
I think the faster we get this done, the better.
huzzah.
To be honest, I think your warriors might just get in the way of a big boy over here.
Don't listen to him. Happy to have more targets.
God damn.
Well, if anything, we can carry supplies on your journey. If I do recall, Helvarig Peak from Monsag will take quite a long time.
How long?
Gets to kind of grab Nichols around. Should be about a day or so. Maybe upwards of 2 days, depending on the weather.
I better get going then, huh?
Case.
I don't believe
Echo
that we
rubs
have
his
to.
temple. Eyes.
I don't believe that we have to scale the peak. If I recall correctly, if Etheran has made his lair deep into the mountainside, such as Ancestor Javar before, then I believe it'll be at the base of the peak.
Let's hope that your memory is correct. I'd hate to have to scale something like that.
Yes, that would be rather unfortunate for one such as your size. Quite difficult.
Well, you could probably give us a ride, couldn't you? Probably just like a couple of
Of course,
you up.
we could carry you. That is definitely an option.
Just don't ever toss a dwarf.
I'm okay with being tossed.
All right, never mind. He's good with it.
I will send
my
5.
preferred method of getting across large gaps is to be tossed.
I will send 5 of my finest, one of which is known as a dwarf tosser.
So
Did
that
I
means
meet her
that there
last
was at
night,
least
or-
more than 2. Oh.
That's good.
Well, I'm feeling ready.
Okay.
If everybody else is.
Let's do it.
All right, so before we head out, gathering maybe supplies if you need rations or extra rope, any sort of climbing equipment if you want to grab that. Most of this lesser equipment is free to you amongst these people. In a similar fashion as to the other day, a lot of them, if you are to obtain these supplies, are more than willing to provide them to have some sort of participation in this event. They want to contribute in that way, and so that they're remembered, right? I gave my rope to them, and they slayed the dragon, right? That's kind of the vibe of the community. That's how they contribute to themselves and earn honor as well as status, right? CJ, is there particular items? Did you paste that in chat at all?
Remember I was trying to get some better armor back in Herock, so I was trying to look that up because I still have the same armor. It would be lovely, Frost dude, to hit my longbow.
Okay, so show your longbow and your armor.
Well, I was trying to change armor in Herock. I'm still on studded leather. We had a brief discussion, but I don't think we've finished that.
Okay, you are a little quiet to me. Is that for everyone else, or is that just me?
Yeah, and I haven't boosted it 200%.
Okay.
I didn't want to interrupt, but yeah, I was gonna mention something.
I can do that one, but it was my day-to-day config. That's too bad. I have
Right.
Okay, so I'm putting in a longbow +1 for you. So again, this is going to be an upgrade. So I'm going to go ahead and delete the item that's currently in there, and then it's going to go ahead and provide to you studded leather +1 as well. So those both there. Okay, so just those 2 items?
Yeah, that's
Okay.
my arsenal.
Climber's kit, extra rope. Okay. Let's see here. I'm going to start dragging you into inventory with some of the stuff pasted in chat so we can get the items into your inventory. Right, so... I don't see the climbing kit. Dragged in or not. I don't know where that puts it. Weird. Where is it? Oh, there it is. Oh.
I see the bottom of the loot.
Yeah, it was it puts it in the loot, not like in tools, which is a weird
Yeah,
place to
drag
put
it
it.
and drop it up to loot or tool.
Yeah.
Loot.
Alright, so we have Kyler, extra rope. Climbing kit.
That rope, dog. I need that rope. Thank you.
So you should have climber's kit, rope, and then Kane, you have climber's kit 10. I think you pronounce it pittons, and extra rope.
Important.
Mm. Thank you.
Yeah, no problem.
All right.
Okay. So you see as the king kind of gathers the five, and they are going to go with you to the actual kind of trading area between the forge and Nimsong. These five in particular, they seem rather normal in the sense of wearing armor and wielding these larger than normal great axes. However, they have kind of different tattoos that are put upon their skin. They also have helmets covering most of their faces. And they also wear the colors, particularly of the king, which is a blue with some white to it. And these kind of shawls that go over the center chest and the back. They don't say anything to you. They are just there to follow you and help you on your quest. They begin as soon as you finish shopping and you obtain everything that you need from this place. They begin to march to the east into the mountainside. All right.
Let's follow
I'll-
them.
Yeah, follow towards the back.
Okay. So, a 6-hour journey as you move through the tundra, as you go through many different switchbacks, as you're kind of climbing up a mountainside before you enter into what the frost giants, one of them speaks in common as the Highland of Jotunvarg, which is a kind of a flat piece of tundra that is rippled with ravines. The 6 hours pass. I'm going to go ahead and advance the clock into kind of the time in general of when the 6 hours has passed, so about 4 p.m. And I'm going to go ahead and also put you onto that map as well. And activate it. I forgot to put your tokens down, so give me a second.
Big dude.
Yeah, they're big. So, as they stride out onto the flat of this tundra, covers a kind of a large distance for about kind of 2 miles from north to south. They begin to kind of lead you across it. So you're kind of off map at this point, and you're heading northeast. They're beginning to kind of move across some of these ravines. For them, it's a step. For you, it's difficult. So they're helping you across them with their hands, kind of carrying you or lowering them down so you can walk across them. After you traverse about kind of to the end of the 2 miles, you get to the home stretch. As you stare kind of off into the distance, you can see kind of behind there's a passage of some kind that's beginning to form that moves to the left and right of the last ravine that pushes it off. You can see the towering large mountain that goes up to about 10,150 feet in elevation. And that is what these giants are referring to as Helvarig Peak. Your position right now as far as elevation, you kind of get the vibe that you're right around at this point halfway in elevation, so about 5,000 or so feet. But again, the actual journey isn't tailored to get to the top of that peak, but rather the base of it. And so you're kind of entering into almost a pass that would lead you to that. As they get to this point, you can see the vegetation and the tundra forest begin to become more paramount. So this is more of a plain area. And then you see in the distance, so the rest of the way is going to be forested and covered in thickets. they kind of slow their positions down as they kind of approach here. One of which kind of leans and looks down into the crack of the actual earth itself. As it does, it kind of pulls back upwards as it stands upright. Turns around and looks towards all of you. It says something in Giant and then refers to it in Common. This is where Remoraz like to nest.
What do you recommend we do?
Would be a good trophy. The head of Remoraz. If what is to
that?
come, we will fight it.
Yeah, we'll follow your lead.
Okay.
Good.
There's no way around it.
Would fly over.
Sees one kind of just steps over the crack. Large thudding as it's moving. Also going to say this music is a little bit too intense right now. It's like
Get some
really
suspenseful music.
It's like
yeah.
really intense, and I was like, "Whoa, what is happening right now?" Let's see if I can find some better suspensive music for
Marvin Gaye going on.
Well, I have some like otherworldly stuff, but it's not. Ooh, maybe this. This might be okay. We'll try it.
Like the drum.
It's not so bad.
No, I like
Kind
it.
of fits the vibe. All right, so he steps over. As it does, he actually is going to roll stealth. So this big giant is going to attempt to stealth at the present moment here. So
Natural 20 calling it.
see as he begins to continue to walk, crunching down on the large tundra snow, making large rhythmic thumping. These other ones begin to kind of fan out. You see as they look left, look right, they all begin to roll stealth checks to attempt to be somewhat stealthy as they're moving through. That's funny.
DM, not to interrupt, but as they were getting ready to cross, I would have cast aid on myself, Aka, and Kyler. So everybody gets +5 to your current HP, and your maximum HP goes up by 5 for the day. So you can add that to your plus max.
Okay.
+5. Let's do this. Thank you.
I will do that when I load back in.
Are you bugged out
I was
again?
gonna say, I thought I saw you crash.
Yeah, it's just being. Yeah, it crashed. Is being really slow right now.
On that McDonald's Wi-Fi.
Might as well be. At this point, the McDonald's might have better Wi-Fi than I do.
So this particular one right here reaches down its hand as it moves just kind of 5 feet, a little bit, kind of moves the hand down for you all to cross, kind of making a space. CJ, the one next to you, holds down the hand as well for you to cross on your side. They're kind of looking back, crouching down, slowly moving,
So,
but they are being obscenely loud.
I mean, I guess I'll roll for stealth, but I mean, I know it's disadvantage for me, but
You don't have to if you don't want to.
I know, but I mean, I figure it'll be a part of the group, you know. They're trying.
Team
I'll
player.
try.
What the hell happened last week?
So you
Nothing
see
good.
kind of the leader strides up. They're continuing to move in positions. You notice that they're kind of just getting to the edge of the ravine as they're doing their best to get to the edge to potentially like, look down. And so some of them are looking down at the large darkness of depth unknown. There's no light. It just disappears down there. Kind of hear
Can I cast light on one of the giant's boots?
this one in front.
Yeah, the one up front.
Kind of turns and looks towards you. Squints for a brief moment. So just kind of moves forward. Gets the notion of sticking the boot down just for some extra light. He
It's gonna fall.
sticks the boot down for extra light. Looks down. Just gonna roll perception. Doesn't see anything. The one next to you, Kyler, kind of motions over. As this,
Oh, hey.
the head one at the kind of the top of the triangle there stands up and turns around, looks, speaks in common. I don't see anything. It looks clear. So it kind of grabs you, Kyler, puts you on the other
Oh,
side.
God. God.
Just sets you down on the other side of the room.
Thanks, man.
Oh, me next.
Sets you down.
And go for a high five as you come back.
Sets you down, CJ.
God, that is horrifying, right, for us.
As you remove invisibility, kind of grunts towards you, grabs you, Kane, puts you on the other side.
God, we're separated.
I'm the biggest out of everyone.
Grabs you, Ika, puts you on the other side.
Oh
As
god.
puts you onto the other side, I'm going to have you all roll perception checks.
Oh, this will be great. Fuck yeah. Jesus, Ika.
Starting off with a nat 20.
Nat 1's next. I'm calling it.
Yeah, I don't doubt it.
I'm calling it.
Calling it. So
Babe.
as you're beginning to be placed over, and the crunching of the snow, a deep rumble into the earth becomes oh so familiar to you all. As you see them begin to kind of move and shake upon the actual bluff itself. As they're kind of looking down, they begin to say that word in giant, "Woo-daw," right? And it begins to come out of the center part of the actual space as it does. It rises high into the air from the depths itself. This one particularly quite long, as it's almost outstretched, grabbing upon its legs to either side of the actual peak. It begins to writhe and move its head around as the frost giants themselves grab the axes, getting ready for combat. They begin to yell out kind of a war chant, just like yelling up into the air, getting ready for combat. With that, I'm going to have everyone roll initiatives.
Uh-oh. Kane? Jesus, that one was loud.
All right, begin combat with Kane. I rolled them all at once.
Oh, okay.
Kane, round one. You're up first.
Wait, does this look similar in size to the larger one or smaller one that we
This
saw
seems
yesterday?
in similar size to the larger one you saw yesterday.
Okay, cool. Alright, I am gonna drop my invisibility and instead cast Bless at first level on me, Aka, and CJ.
Okay.
And then I will move here. So, CJ and Aka, you can add a d4 to your attack rolls and saving throws.
Okay.
Now, my turn.
All right. So we end your turn. We come to the Remoraz turn. It's going to puncture through the earth. As it does, it emerges on the opposite side of the frost giant. Crashes high up into the air about 60 feet. And goes in for a bite towards the frost giant.
Jesus.
Hits with a 25. Does a total of 40 points of piercing and fire damage as it bites onto the shoulder of the frost giant. As he begins to resist being actually restrained, as the size of the frost giant is quite large and is unable to be restrained by this monster and engorged upon. That's going to be the end of the creature's turn. Kylie, you're up next.
Ferox, I can't fight that, so I'm just gonna stay here. But I'm gonna ready my shield.
It's only a 10-foot action jump.
Oh. I remember hitting it and it burned a lot.
That's
So
true.
I'm just yeah, I'm gonna ready my shield just in case, but kind of just be ready for any angle.
Okay. Are you
That'll
gonna
be it.
like take the dodge action?
Dodge actually, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Ferox, you're up next.
Just gonna keep it simple here. Just throw out a little produce flame.
27 hits. That does 2 points of
Ah,
fire
singe it.
damage. As you throw the produce flame, you see as this large chitin-like shell with the fans resists your fire completely.
Got it. And hide behind Kyler.
Okay.
Done.
All right.
I'm okay with that. Yeah.
Into the frost giant, the left charges forward. As it does, it swings its mighty great axe towards it. It's gonna land. It's not gonna hit with a 10. As it does, just misses as the creature misses as the creature rears back. And that's gonna be the end of the frost giant's turn, as it begins to kind of get ready to almost parry the next blow or the bite from this creature instead of taking another attack. This one is going to jump over, moving 30
God.
feet, and then move 10 next to you both. As it does, it kind of hunches over, taking the dodge action, or potentially, I'm going to say either, not the dodge action, but the help action for anything that you both require is what this frost giant is readying on your next turn. So whichever one comes first.
He's our bitch for rocks.
All right, CJ, it's your turn.
Yeah.
Standing my ground, I take a bonus action first for unsettling words, targeting the whatchamacallit. Casting that spell. I'll take one of the dice. Where is it? I think it's featured. Yep. And then as my action, go ahead and cast Dissonant Whispers, limits of my range.
Okay.
And at first slot.
All right, the creature is going to fail with a 10. You do 8 points of damage to this creature.
And it should flee my awesomeness. Uses its action to move at its speed away from me.
Okay. On its turn, correct?
On a field.
Uses its reaction to do it right now if it has it.
Okay. So it's going to use its reaction to move its full movement away from you? Correct?
That sounds right. Use
Okay.
its reaction available to move it.
So the creature is
Right.
going to
Arms
dive.
of-
Yeah, it's going to dive into the ground. As it does, just shoves its body into the ground. You see the two frost giants on either side are going to take attack of opportunities against it as it leaves the space.
And I end my turn.
Only one of them is able to hit. There's a total of 22 points of slashing damage as it cuts into the backside of the creature as its kind of tail is flipping outwards, and it disappears into the depths.
Huzzah! And I end my turn.
Okay. We come to the next giant. This one is going to move kind of a full dash, if you will, to the other side and look down into this crevice. Turn back to its companion. It says in giant something. Not sure any of you. I don't believe any of you speak giant, so I will just keep it at that. Aika, it's your turn.
It appears I have been screwed in the turn order, so I'm just going to back up a little bit and do nothing. Actually, I'm gonna hold, I guess, a chromatic orb for if it shows up in range again.
Okay.
If I can, yeah. And I'll get Linus to help me with it.
Okay. So
Should that
an
happen?
Okay. So readying an action
Yeah.
to fire at it when it comes up to the surface. Okay.
line his mage tips up here.
Yeah.
This one is going to take the opportunity to cross to get better position to protect you 3. It's kind of steps over it, kind of puts backside towards you all. Wait for it. It will come once more. This next one is going to head and get on the other side as well, kind of putting between you both. Kind of moves the great axe, kind of shutting either side, and it's going to take its action to perceive, and to where the actual creature is going to come out. Kind of begins to listen towards the ground, feeling the vibrations. As it does, it kind of looks towards the last one that's kind of still over in that area. Kind of points, speaks in giant. I want everyone to roll perception checks.
Chat.
That 20 again.
That's awesome. Okay, so we had, wow, that's fantastic.
You're wasting it.
So 23, 23, 22. So perception, CJ and Kyler, you're in the heat of combat right now, anticipating the creature. The rumble of this creature is loud, intimidating. But for the above 20s, you hear scraping on the sides of the actual walls themselves. You're not entirely sure what that scraping is from, as it's coming from the ravine. In direction and position, since looks like Ika, Kane, and Frox, I'm going to go ahead and give you some sort of semblance of translation and position, and you resemble it coming from that stretch or that length of the ravine as it moves up to the pass. You're not entirely sure if whatever it is like running alongside of it or climbing up it. It's can't tell. All right, Kane, it's your initiative.
All right. Did it sound like the same like noises that the Remoraz makes when they burrow? Because we've heard them burrow several times now.
No, it does not sound like burrowing. It sounds much smaller than that in size of creature, and it almost sounds as if it's digging talons or claws into the ice.
All right. I'm gonna move my 25 feet over there. Can I see the creature?
Yeah, so as you move 25 feet and you're staring down into the depths, you see as you're able to kind of see these creatures. I'm going to go ahead and just kind of put them onto the board, and then I'm going to go ahead and roll initiative for them.
Oh.
As they are alongside of the space, I'm going to go ahead and put elevation. They are approximately 20 feet down the ravine, and this of course is not plus, but it's a negative, so I can't change that unfortunately, but at least it gives you some indicator of positioning of them. They are yeah, go for it.
Do they like hostile to us, or like they're just like running away?
They're not running away, they're running towards the commotion. They seem to be drawn to whatever rumbling is happening, and they're kind of in a line, almost like a formation, as they're kind of moving themselves. These creatures have a dragon-like mouth with razor-sharp teeth, eyes of blue as they kind of glow and shimmer, and dragon scales cover the backsides of this quadruped-like creature, and the tail kind of comes out. It resembles that of the actual white dragon, but without the wings, and the much lesser in size.
Gotcha. I'll just call out to everybody, we got company, and take the dodge action. And my turn.
Okay. So the Remoraz comes and breaches from the surface outwards as it does. Another puncture a hole in the large gaping space. As it comes outwards, you begin to hear the ice itself begin to shift and shuffle. You're unsure, but this position in this area here most likely is going to fall in to the earth. As the Remoraz looks towards the giant, it comes in for a bite towards its head. It's going to miss with a 14 as the Frost Giant is able to take the Great Axe and shove the head back into the ground. As it picks itself back up and gets ready to strike it.
Do I get to
Yeah.
hit him?
Mhm.
Cool.
24 is going to hit. That is 23 points of damage. What kind of damage is it?
Lightning.
2 8s and a 7?
Lightning damage? Okay. It's 23 points of damage to chromatic orb. It kind of fires. You take the opportunity as the frost giant kind of slams it into the ground with the the actual length of the weapon, the great axe, as the kind of chromatic orb crashes into the underbelly of this Remoraz, this large millipede insectoid-like creature. Begins to kind of rile as it does. It moves its mouth up, picks itself back up, kind of hisses up into the air as the snow itself begins to melt and become incinerated. Sees the frost giant begins to become slightly singed from the heat. That's going to be the end of that creature's turn. Kyler, you're up.
All right. Well, if that dude's distracted and Kane called for more company, I'm gonna move over here and I haven't jumped in this session or in this campaign yet. If I dash, can I still jump or no?
So you can dash and jump at the same time.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not a problem. So
Okay.
what's your strength score?
Well, I know the modifier is +6, but 23.
You are able to jump across.
Cool. I'm gonna jump it, and I'm just gonna get over here
Okay.
or wherever, and then that'll end my turn. Actually, wait. I'm gonna tell this giant right here to help my friend. I'm gonna point to Ferox.
Okay.
Say, help my friend.
Okay. All right, come to one of the drakes as this one begins to move, moving 25 feet up. It's going to come all the way up to the surface as it does, begins to almost kind of call upwards, kind of snarls up into the air, kind of as it's like smelling and sniffing. It's going to move an additional 5 feet, and then it's going to take a dash action, moving 60 feet all the way as it begins to kind of move in all fours. Keeping itself low to the ground as it's moving in a full dash towards you, Kane. Very much the scent of you, in a way. It's drawn to it seems, as it's running directly at you. Ferox, it's your turn.
All right. You said this guy was assisting.
That's correct. It's going to help you.
Okay.
Whatever you were attempting to do, it was there to help.
Okay. It could encourage me on my attack.
You can do it, buddy. You got this. $17 is going to hit. You do 14 points of radiant damage as it crashes into the large millipede Remoraz creature. Begins to glow slightly from the wound as it begins to entrace some of its different artwork. 18 is going to hit, and that does 11 points of radiant damage as you fire a bolt of ethereal energy into the creature. It lands, chipping away at its chitin-like shell.
Then I'm gonna start retreating back.
Okay.
Right, done.
The next person to strike against the creature will have advantage.
Oh,
The
no,
guiding
I used
bolt.
it.
Oh,
I used it on the archer form.
okay. Oh, that's why you rolled advantage. That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Come to the frost giant that is facing with the creature. It's going to come in with a great axe strike towards it. 15 is going to miss as it strikes against the large chitin shell and just kind of veers off from the blow as it's quite thick. It's gonna he's gonna take another swing at it here. See if he can hit. He's gonna multi-attack. 23 hits. And that does 24 points of slashing damage as he takes and goes around the other side, comes into the side of it and pulls it out. The blood of this creature comes out and sizzles as it does. As it hits the ground, it just completely actually evaporates into the ground and melts more additional as the blood seems to be superheated. You see as the frost giant itself begins to rear back from damage it sustained from the actual attack, from attacking this creature. That's going to be the end of its turn, as it dares not move. As Kyler, you yelled at this one in particular, the one that was helping you, Ferox, is going to take the advantage and go into a flanking position behind. It's going to gain advantage for 2 strikes. It's going to land a critical.
Oof. There we go.
Does a total of 48 points of damage with the critical and the additional hit. That's going to be the end of its turn. CG, you're up.
Moving to protect one of my sides here. Move here first, maybe. Yep. And targeting the thingy that's closest to Kane and up there.
Okay.
Fires a longbow.
$11 is going to be miss as the creature's in a
You
full
can add a
dash
D4 to
movement.
that.
You can't add the D4. That's correct. You did bless. Give me a D4.
Enter is not the right key for that.
Nice. Okay, that is going to hit then. You do 9 points of piercing damage as you feel as if you were going to miss, but then something guided your bow slightly down to make sure you hit.
And that will end my turn. Thank you.
Okay. This one is going to move 25 here, and then is going to move an additional all the way up in a full dash as it fronts you, but is unable to attack as it took its action to dash. End of its turn. This one is going to hop over onto the other side, climb up. That's going to be its 30 feet of movement speed. Smells the air as it does. It sees you, Kyler. Begins to move additional in a full dash. That's its full movement and action. It's the end of its turn. The giant, seeing you run up for rocks, kind of looks towards you, sees the little creature kind of move up on you, Kyler. Begins to just sidestep towards you, for rocks, helping you with whatever you require. It's going to be the end of its turn. Aika, you're up next.
I'm like, Kane, maybe you should duck or something.
Oh shit!
Looks like two of them fail, one of them succeeds as the fireball kind of lands with a large crash. It explodes into the snow in different framework. You can see as they kind of yelp outwards in these large draconic-like roars. They kind of shriek back from the fire as it explodes. You do notice as I'm going to go ahead and roll a save for the one on the bottom to see here. Let's go and take a look. Okay. So you see as the one on the bottom actually is going to fall an additional 20 feet as it slides down from the blow, kind of loses its position and then grabs its claws down, sliding, and then is able to pick itself back up. The rest of the two are up there, again, heavily wounded. You see many different of the scales kind of exploded back from them, and they seem to be kind of bleeding this bluish-like blood as it's coming out of the scales and the flesh. Seems that your fireball was successful. Anything else in your turn?
Use my bonus action to Linus to fly over and help out Kane.
Okay. I got you, Matthew.
That's my turn.
Kane, I'm here to help you. See, is this one, noticing you, Kane, is the one when the fireball exploded. It's actually going to charge forward. I'm going to do my best to get this one in position. Obviously, Linus is behind there, so we'll move it. That's attention. It's going to come up to the one right in front of you, Kane, and it's going to come in for a swing of its large, giant great axe. It's going to miss its first blow as it stomps into the large snow as the creature is able to jump out of the way. It goes in for a second strike towards it. 15 is going to hit. Does 18 points of slashing damage as it cuts off its tail completely as it smashes down once more. Again, this creature's nimble. Kind of the frost giant, come on, kind of like gets angry at itself. And you imagine Kane at this point is probably going to kick it off into the depths the next turn. It's going to be it for it. This one is going to climb up here. And it's going to move its additional dash, which puts it there. Ending its turn. Noticing the combat, this frost giant over here is going to take its dash, coming to your side, Ica. As it does, it kind of holds its great axe and holds a defensive posture to defend you in case anything comes out, but it did have to dash to get to that point. This one is going to use its full movement speed to pick itself up. That's 45. This one is going to move its remainder. So that should be acceptable there. And that is round 3. Kane, you're up.
All right. Can I move through an ally space?
You can move through that one space. Yes, you can.
So I'd like to move there, like through my ally space.
Okay.
All right, and then I will cast a spiritual weapon at advantage because of the help action.
That's not a square. $25 hits. Do 7 points of force damage as you kind of club it into the side of its head with your scalpel. As it does, it kind of gets hit and it just slides off into the ravine and disappears out of sight.
Awesome. How much more was that? 10 feet of a movement or 15 to get there?
That right there, I believe it's going to be 10 feet.
All right, then I'll continue to move, stay within this creature's melee, and then I will attack it with my warhammer.
Okay. $18 is going to hit. You do 5 points of bludgeoning damage. As you come across its top side, striking its midsection, kind of hears a soft crack of its flesh. Some of the scales kind of reaches back upwards, curls, and turns towards you and snarls. Come to the Remoraz. As it's beginning to bleed from different spots of its body, its intention still focused on the one in front of it. Goes in for a bite. 29 hits. That does 49 points of piercing and fire damage as it bites onto the shoulder and lurches down to the frost giant as he begins to yell outwards from the actual blow itself. It's still alive, but the actual noise from this collision shakes and shimmies the actual earth. This space, I'm going to go ahead and draw it out best that I can here. Right there, that shelf is completely gone now. It's impassable terrain as it's now fallen down into the rest of the ravine. Tyler, it's your turn.
It's time for Great Weapon Master swinging. Where did my... There it is.
19 is going to hit. And that does 37 points of damage. As you notice this sword, the whistle kind of comes outwards, and as you come in for a strike, doing 37 points of damage, you notice that this particular weapon seems quite good at killing these particular creatures.
Oh! Then, without Great Weapon Master, I will swing again.
Okay.
Thank
24
God.
hits. That does 22 points of slashing damage. As you see that you're cutting through the actual flesh, the dragon's scales just kind of slide straight through it like butter. As it does, it comes into the midsection with a large crack. You go straight through the spine. The creature goes limp and falls.
Great Weapon Master on this one. And since I killed that one.
Okay. 19 is going to hit. Do 31 points of slashing damage as you take the sword. As the creature kind of picks itself up, you stab the sword straight through its chest and twist and you pull it outwards. As this blue blood just kind of shoots out of it onto the actual snow. The creature begins to sway back and forth, but is still alive.
That'll end my turn.
Okay.
Actually, wait, I'll move here. That'll end my turn.
All right. Come to one that is quite wounded from the fireball, begins to kind of limp over towards you, Kane. As it does, it goes in for a strike towards you with its bite, with its mouth. 10 is going to be a miss. It comes back around with its tail for a swing. 16 is going to be a miss as well. So you take your shield and you begin to bash the 2 strikes. The creature begins to snarl. As it does, it picks its kind of claws up and kind of strikes into your shield, angry and ferocious. Ferox, it's your turn.
We seem to be getting this under control, so keep it tame. Feeling bolstered again.
You are being helped. You got it. Big giant
Yeah,
thumb.
bro.
Big giant thumb goes in front of your face. All right, both are going to hit. That does 11 radiant and 6 points of fire. As you do, you land, kind of shoots towards. You get right in the left kind of front leg area. As it does, you kind of kick it down, and the fire leaches back onto its shoulder blade. It's still alive, but very, very wounded, as it's bleeding quite profusely. All right, we're going to end your turn there. We come to the Frost Giants with the Remoraz. We're going to go for 2 strikes here. All right, the first and second strike connect, dealing a total of 52 points of damage. As this Frost Giant strikes once, pulls it out, comes top down, become straight through the head of this creature, splitting it almost in 2. The creature riles back and forth, but is still alive. Yells outwards in victory. As we're going to come to the next one. This one's going to have advantage with flanking as well as the other one. It's going to come in for a strike. First one misses with advantage. Second strike comes out. That's going to connect the 26. That does 32 points of damage as it kicks it down into the ground, cleaving its head completely off, finishing it as it deals the blow and begins to rile and crumple down. Superheated body becoming cooled by the frost air and the snow around it. This Frost Giant doesn't care about taking any damage from the heat, picks its head upwards, just holds it into the air and shakes it violently. CJ, it's your turn.
Taking aim at the one I have targeted near the cane.
Okay.
Another longbow. At this distance.
17 is going to hit. You 10 points of piercing damage. Kind of lands towards the right rear leg underneath. Just kind of slides in. Makes a kind of a yelping roar noise. As it does, begins to limp and bleed profusely from the wound.
Triggering action surge. Do it again. with
Okay.
longbow.
16 is going to hit. That is 9 points of piercing damage as it falls kind of to a limp, picks itself back up. Next strike lands in the neck and falls down limp, dead.
Get a little bit closer. Standing a respectful distance. There. And
Okay.
in my turn.
All right. Come to the one helping you, Ferox. I think you got this, buddy. Moves over. Comes and flanks the creature with you, Kyler. Smiles.
Oh. Uh-oh.
Takes advantage coming down on top of the creature. First strike hits. There's a total of 32 points of damage as it
Holy
smashes it into the ground. As its scales completely smush, its blood and different organs of its body disappear into the earth as it crunches it down. It's dead.
Dear Lord.
Smiles at you. Good, yes, good. It's gonna be the end of its turn. Ika, you're up.
Oh, I'm just gonna do a simple. Ah, it
There
rolled
it
off of
is.
20.
All right, a 9 is going to be miss because this one had to take a dash. It was not able to help you quite yet. So a 9 is going to be missed there.
So sad. And that's my turn.
All right, we're gonna end your turn. Come to the one next to you, Cade. Big giant hand or finger kind of pushes you on the shoulder. Don't worry. Grabs the great axe, comes down, swings.
Wasn't worried.
26 hits, 19 points of slashing damage as it cuts its right leg, hind leg completely off as it is pulls the great axe back up, goes in for another swing. 25 hits. It does 25 points of damage as it smashes it into the ground, cleaving it in half. Pulls up the great axe, puts it back onto the shoulder, and with that, we are going to go ahead and end initiatives.
I'd like to look up to the giant next to me and be like, that was good teamwork there. We equally contributed to that fight.
Yes. Strong fighter you are, chosen one.
You're not too bad yourself, kid.
These are servants of Etheran, protectors of his lair. There's hundreds of them.
Gross.
100. Oh.
They know we are coming. We are to make it to the cavern, where the lair is at the base of the peak. That is indeed where it is. We will most likely have to hold them off while you go in. He strides and steps completely over you. Completely
Jesus.
walks.
That's rude.
Heading for the pass as they begin to move in this direction. What's up?
I will go to assist for Rox. Oh, okay.
This one over here, I'm gonna hit you right on his shoulder.
Okay, yeah. It's like everyone just started walking away. I was like, I'll try to catch.
Grabs
Okay.
you, pulls you over.
Like, see everyone walking away. I'm like, damn,
Bye,
Ferox is a wolf.
Ferox. See you later. He's a druid. He can just, it's fine. He'll fly away. It's good.
I was ready to help. Yeah, all right.
All right.
Fall behind, get left behind.
Exactly. Fall behind. Get left.
So you said the sword did particularly well against these things?
That's correct. It seemed to whistle and slide through the scales rather easily.
Good to know. All right.
All right, so as you continue to press on, 2 hours pass by after
Jesus.
leaving Jotunvarg. You get to a period about 6 p.m. On this day, which is equivalent to the 20th of September. Passage begins to work kind of up the side of the mountain using switchbacks. Evergreen trees and tender vegetation grow rather thick throughout, but you can start to disperse as you continue to gain elevation. I'm going to activate you onto a map as the 2 hours have kind of passed by. Also going to go ahead and drag down Frost Giants as best as I can into this map. I'm probably going to leave a couple of them off the map just for the sake of it until you all move, so it's not like crazy. I can put them on. It's that one. It's... Okay. So you get into this area. You see is the trees, right? They're dense in this area, and then you just kind of stare up on the actual switchbacks. And in perspective of where you are, you would be heading east at this point, right? So the top of the map is east. You're getting to these switchbacks as you do, it kind of scales upwards, and the trees become dispersed, and the peak is in the backdrop of your journey. You notice as they begin to, the frost giants are kind of fanning out, scanning through the trees themselves, very particularly aware that the servants or these creatures that had crawled through potentially are going to ambush or come at you on your journey to the lair. So they're kind of aware of this, and they're kind of fanning out, looking as best as they can. As you are kind of traversing upwards, you see something rather interesting to the left of the actual map. You see to the left of one of the switchbacks appears to be a shrine consisting of 4 stone snow-covered statues, 2 obelisk-like structures. The statues range from 10 to 20 feet in height. The obelisk structures only go to about 5 feet. So the actual obelisks are shorter and the statues are taller. As you kind of move towards them and get closer on the actual switchback, You see that there are runes that are kind of carved into the statues and obelisks. In the hands of two of the statues are empty stone bowls. You notice as the one that has been communicating and talking the most about all the frost giants, as they're now kind of fanning out, getting themselves into almost a protective positioning, defending if there's any sort of incursion here or attack. This one kind of looks down towards you, Kane, as you're kind of the first one that's here, moving up. These were built long ago to gain blessing against Jormung. Large great worm. White dragon. In the bowls, if you provide a gift, something of value to it, it will bestow a blessing that should carry you to the peak in your fight against Etheran. Stares up into the kind of the sky. It'll take us 8 hours. From here, we should rest.
Do these offering plates still work?
They should. These are imbued with magic, such as that was put into your weapons and your armor.
How do they work?
Set within the bowl something which is valuable to you, to your heart, to your soul. They will give back in kind, something valuable that you will need on your fight for the dragon.
Does it take the object, or is it just blessed?
As long as the object stays within the bowl, you will be blessed. Fear not, little one. Not that you're a dwarf, but just smaller than me. Gotta clarify that. You will be able to return and gather this item. It is not used up in this blessing. It will be here. Chuckles to himself. And let me assure you, no one will disturb it.
Okay, you'll see Kane reach inside of one of his leather pockets, and he pulls out what looks like a skull. Dwarven in shape. Kind of kisses the forehead of the skull and places it in the base of the bowl.
Okay. As you place it upon the bowl, you see that there are runes becoming lit in the statue. The obelisk in kind, as well as the two larger ones behind. They kind of glow for a split second, and then they diminish. Good. Good. You shall be resistant to cold, little one. You may mark that on your character sheet.
Thank you for sharing that, friend.
Yes. Now rest. Make camp. We will keep watch. You will need your strength come tomorrow. Fan out, puts himself almost behind the statue. Many of them kind of slump down. Some of them have large sacks that are pulling up food, kind of crushing into it. Some are actually chopping down trees, making obscene amount of noise. These trees are kind of falling down. They kind of begin to chop away at them further, potentially to provide you all firewood if necessary.
Well, friend, should we enjoy one last drinking, just in case?
Sure.
All right, I will pull out one of my 5 remaining expensive bottles of wine that we got from the Duke. And everybody that has a flask or a glass or something, I will pour it, or we'll just pass the bottle around, probably.
Got my custom horn from the Giants, yo.
Anybody that wants some, I pour them a glass. It's been interesting to get to know you all. Yeah. Hope we all make it out tomorrow.
We'll be fine.
Huzzah!
Oh,
If
Brock,
you
you
don't, I'm
fought a lot of
blaming.
dragons then.
I mean, we took down the Krakens, didn't we?
We did.
So you say?
Just go with it, Kane. Just gonna whisper, just go with it.
I've buried a lot of people in my day. I don't want to add you all to the list of people that I've buried, so.
If I die, I want you to have this hammer. It hurts me every time I try to hold it, but maybe you can figure something out.
What hammer are you talking about?
Can I transfer this hammer to him, Michael? Like, can you pull that from my inventory to him?
Yeah, I can do that.
Yeah, I don't know, man. It's some magic I don't understand.
Are you officially giving it to? I'll leave it in both your inventories for now. It's fine.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean,
Until you
I
make a
haven't.
decision of what it is. It is a very interesting and peculiar hammer. This hammer itself is resembling that kind of a war hammer, in the sense that it'll do a D10, right? If you kind of hold it with both, or a D8, right? So it is interesting in the symbols that are upon it. These symbols are an intermix of Dwarvish and Undercommon. The Dwarvish that you can tell, it speaks to some kind of master or soul that has been placed within the actual hammer. In a way, it seems as if there must be some attunement to this soul or master when the weapon was forged. And transferring this seems to be, in your interpretations, near impossible at this point.
Say that last part again.
So it seems near impossible to transfer whatever soul or master that has been imbued into this hammer. So something similar, Kyler, what happened to you was that it was psychic towards your mind, right? So whatever connection this hammer has with its master through the soul that was put into the hammer, right? So that connection there, even though the master has been slain, right? So the wielder of this hammer has been slain. The soul is reluctant to give its actual power away, right? So it's reluctant to have another master, so to speak.
Have you had a resident nerd look at it?
That's why I'm giving it to you.
Fair enough, but it's not really my specialty. I mean, I can swing these things, but Aka, have you looked at it yet?
I have, and it doesn't seem to even want another master. It's a very strange object.
Well, perhaps we can take it back to the blacksmith where we met here. If we make it back, and maybe he can help us discover its secrets. He seemed to know his way around certain objects.
Yeah, maybe.
I'm
But
curious.
don't worry,
Mr.
Kyler.
Kano.
We'll loot your body if you die. So.
Do you normally go around kissing skulls? What was that?
Oh, that was my brother. Carry him around for good luck, and that's why I was asking if they would give it back or not.
Yeah. What happened to him?
Obviously, he died.
Nope, he was born that way. Yeah, he a while back there was some sickness in one of my villages, and my brother died because of it, and carried him around as a reminder of what happened at that time. Good old Abel over there.
That's nice. He's always with you then.
Yeah, well, except for now, but now he's right in that bowl. But
Okay, I'm sure he'll be fine. Hopefully,
hope so.
probably.
To be honest, I'm more kind of worried about us at the moment, but he just gets his hand on that bowl, and we're going to go fight a dragon. So
Worried about us? Did you see how Kyler here laid into the dragon last time?
I love your enthusiasm, but that usually means that you're going to be the first to die.
I'm a glass half full type of person.
It takes all kinds to go around, right? Actually, your glass looks pretty empty at the moment, and I'll pour him another glass of wine.
Take that.
CJ, you feeling better? You were so quiet, the last couple days.
Just waking up. Yeah, I'm fine. Should we make camp? And CJ starts to make camp.
Okay.
Ask, kind of shout a little bit to cover the distance. Is it okay if we make a fire? Or will that draw the scaly ones?
Throws a tree at you. Have at it.
I duck the tree. This is a good spot. And start to make a campfire. Maybe a little ways away from the...
Yeah, wherever you want to set up camp. It's up to you all.
Are we standing on the obelisks? Or is that further?
That's to the left of the map, so the far left, you'll see statues and different things over there.
We all need to put something in there, right? Preferably.
So what was basically said was, if you are requesting whatever blessing that is bestowed upon in the fight against these things, you must put something from your soul, something that means very much to you. And in return, you will be blessed with that. Right. So.
Aika's gonna dig through his bag, searching for like anything.
Okay.
I don't have actually very much, but I guess I'll pull out what looks like just an open letter and put it. I'll lift up the skull and like put it on top of it like a paperweight.
God.
So it doesn't fucking blow away.
So you're putting a letter on it?
Yeah, that's all. That's literally all I have other than my spell book and like the Duke's possessions. That's all I've got on my person. Is the Duke's possessions, a book, and a letter.
Interesting. So you put on the piece of paper. So you kind of tuck it underneath the paperweight of the skull there. As you put it on, it begins to kind of glow with different runes and whatnot, shining at the gift that has been received. You see as it reaches towards you, in so doing, it gives you a temporary 10 HP.
Does that stack on top of the 5 I got earlier? Or is the 5 gone now?
The 5...
That was not temporary HP, that was current HP goes up by 5. Those are two different things.
Okay.
So it just gives you a flat 10 HP to work with.
Got it.
CJ's kind of hesitant. Two things that she owns come to her mind is from her soul, but I'm not really comfortable leaving those in the middle of the woods. So she's struggling with the decision there. Maybe in the morning.
We'll come up next to CJ and be like, I'm kind of in the same boat as you, but maybe do it at the same time, yeah?
believe that's going to be here when you get back? Piece of paper? Or the gem?
Well, we're the chosen ones, aren't we?
So we can't be... Something can't blow away in the woods? That's hecka chosen.
Well, I mean, if you look at what Ika did there, that's a mighty fine paperweight.
Yeah.
You know, I'd rather mine not blow away, but
I mean, he has
I'd
a name,
rather-
but yeah, sure, paperweight.
I'd rather be safe
Jesus.
than, you know, anything to help us against a fucking dragon.
I'm gonna place my warhammer in there.
Okay. So you place your warhammer in there. Begins to glow. Lights begin to... The runes begin to glow and the lights kind of shimmer through from the statues. Seems that you are bestowed with 10 HP, temporary.
Alrighty. And I,
Gonna kind of step forward, like kind of slightly tugging on CJ's arm. Come on now, come on.
Oh, thanks.
Do it yourself.
Thank you.
Pull out a little journal and stick it in.
A journal?
Yep.
What's in this journal?
Basically copies of star charts that she's been making across the journey.
Okay. As you put it within the bowl, it begins to glow slightly. As it does, it kind of begins to emanate outwards. And from that, provides you cold resistance.
Once everybody's placed their objects in there, I will step forward and cast alarm over the bowls. That way we'll be notified if anybody was to take anything from there.
Okay. Sounds good.
And then I'll re-up that before we go in the following morning.
Okay.
Long rest?
Long resting?
wait,
All right.
do it.
So as the night passes by, temperature begins to drop quite a bit. In fact, it reaches just around 19 degrees Fahrenheit. As your warm clothing and your bedrolls are set up, hopefully, tents perhaps you've propped up, and the fire keeping it lit overnight becomes paramount. You notice as that you're sleeping and you awake to continue lighting the fire, one of the frost giants comes over and breaks off some tree limbs and things, begins to continue to light the flames for you to keep you warm and protected. Many of the frost giants don't feel the cold, no issues with it whatsoever, and they are just kind of sitting around protecting you. And as the night kind of progresses through, you do know that the next day kind of rises and the sun begins to come up, and some of you begin to awake. And as you do, in the early hours, about 5:30 in the morning, kind of hear the soft, subtle whispers of snow as it begins to fall from the sky. Light dusting of snow is falling, not too severe. Many of the frost giants are awake now, as one kind of comes over to you, kneels down. For those that aren't awake, and looks towards you all. We should get going. We were not disturbed. It's a bad sign.
How's not being disturbed a bad sign?
If we were disturbed, then his forces would be dispersed upon the mountain. Whatever was sent at us must have been scouts, patrol. The rest, they're back at the peak. Points with a giant finger towards the mountain.
I'm gonna start the day casting Mage Armor on Aka, but also I will cast Aid at 3rd level on myself, Kyler, and Aka. So each of us will get 10 max HP and plus 10 to your current HP.
Nice. That's pretty sweet.
I like it. Thank you.
Way to be, Kane. Bumping him. You're juicing him right now.
Yo.
Trying to.
Come on. That's awesome. Okay. So as you long rest in the early mornings, Kane casting your magic mage armor, you're making the preparations as the frost giants believe that they will reach the hypothesized lair, right? The predicted destination by the near end of the day. As they begin to move up the mountain pass, some of them don't actually need to use the switchbacks like you do. They're actually kind of climbing over them and maneuvering. Some which are, offering for you to ride on their shoulders if you prefer, instead of trudging through the thick snow, especially since the conditions of the weather are becoming more severe and the snow is beginning to flutter and drop. I'm going to go ahead and activate a new map here. And I'm going to go ahead and pause it with a description, as well as changing the time. Wait a little bit there, Ika, for you to load in. I saw that you're slow to load. Are you able to load the map?
Yeah, I can see.
Okay, good. Just want to make sure. So as you travel a grueling journey, you move from 5:30 a.m. to about 3:30 p.m. Travel as you march most of the day. Through the switchbacks, you are now well upon towards the destination of this mountain. Roughly, as you stand, you are about, you would say, 8,000 feet or so. The peak itself kind of spans off into the distance. You are getting into kind of an area of thick vegetation and thickets and evergreen trees that are kind of pushing outwards. Whatever the king said about not having to climb the peak doesn't really seem to be true, as you have made that journey almost near to the elevation through the switchbacks. You can hear in the distance the sound of rushing water. And observe as you kind of spread through the trees and stuff as you're marching right through. You kind of begin to pierce through the trees and left and right. You see this kind of massive roped and wooden bridge that crosses a mighty semi-frozen river. The water appears to be moving from south to north and is kind of run off right from the mountains. The bridge seems to be in decent condition just from visible perceptions at this distance, but is quite weighed down with the snow that is continuing to fall upon it. On the other side, the plant life continues before another passage takes you further towards Helvarig Peak. We went unpause it. I'm going to go place down the frost giants. I'm also going to leave a couple of them off the map as some of them are behind. Some have that health.
We've been seeing these cracks all the way up the mountain, then? The two that are on the left?
Yeah, so these ravines are quite common in the tundra and Arctic environment, that was potentially another runoff of a river, perhaps, that has completely frozen at this point. So that is no longer being kind of poured down into this much larger body of water. And so those are kind of relics of what you've seen. And that is where those ravines come from in the highland of Jotunvarg. That's kind of the underground working of water through the mountains that carve that.
Okay. Bye.
Oh, did we lose one? Oh, yeah. Gee, no, I expect. Okay. So as this, the one that's been talking, right, kind of somewhat wounded at this point, I'm going to then put them to full health because they also did long rest. I forgot. So let me get him to full health here. This one kind of moves forward up to the bridge and looks towards it. This was for some of the dwarfs long ago that helped fight the dragon. Clan Alderfist. We formed this bridge. This will help you cross. We will, begins to kind of point down there, 80 feet below. We will climb down, cross the river from below.
I'm gonna walk over to Aka because I know he didn't get it last time when I gave him the hand and arm signals, and I'm like, "Hey, Aka, can your familiar scout it out?"
Of course. And I'll send Linus out, like
Okay.
over here somewhere.
Okay. So you send Linus out. Go and roll perception for Linus. I got you, Master. I'm gonna see you, Master. Don't worry.
If he'll go out onto the board. Oh,
Alright.
I can't even open him. Hold on.
Master.
I'm gonna have to reload the page.
Oh no, Master.
Oh no.
I can't roll perception, Master. I won't be able to see.
DJ kind of looks around, so we ready? Starts to walk out.
Vrox is gonna climb onto the shoulder of one
Sure.
that she's been calling Steve.
Sure. I think I can actually put you above it. Let me see if I remember the binding for it. It's not the binding.